Yeah.
So this is just, I guess, a bit of an experiment where we just
Well, and
decided to randomly stream what we usually do on the internet for anyone who cares to watch and to anyone who doesn't to not watch. So full freedom. Um, and yeah, so this is not going to be a show or anything. We're just going to hang out and hack on PyMC marketing. Um, and and we don't have any plan. We're just gonna do we're just gonna play it by ear. Um, maybe we'll just do a short introductions though. So I'm Thomas Wiki. I'm the CEO and founder of PyMC Labs, and a Bayesian enthusiast, you might say. Carlos?
Sure. Carlos Trujillo here, developer in PyMC Labs as well, marketing scientist, also Bayesian enthusiast as Thomas, and hope that Will as well, and everybody here. So yeah, happy to see you, everybody.
I'm Will Dean, also Bayesian enthusiast, my new term I want to use. I'm work data science by day, statistician by training, and Bayesian enthusiast all around.
Very cool. Purna?
hey, hi everyone. My name is Purna. I'm from India, and here I'm. You're seeing the live stream. So I'm managing all the social media stuff, and whenever I get time, I used to like go to the code base and see some development over there. So we can start now, I guess.
Very cool. So I mean, you guys actually did a hackathon 2 weeks ago. I'm curious, like, what did you do? What did you like screen share, or what did you work on?
So we had a few outstanding tickets from PyMC-Marketing that we were working on, and I think that we're still kind of trudging through. And so we spent some time, just allocated time for that. And then we had some kind of questions towards each other as well. So we did spend the kind of, hacking away. So a lot of keyboard sounds happening, but then also some time to get some feedback that's a little bit more iterative than async can be.
Yeah.
Sounds, yeah, Carlos.
No, I just want to say that it's actually fine. Like last time, we had like a few moments where we basically discussed how to proceed, maybe even in the internal development. So that actually streamlined a bit the process. So you don't need to wait for comments in the same PR. You can actually just comment right now. And yeah, that was nice. By the way, Will, you were saying like a statistician over day. For a moment, I was thinking like, oh, what you will say, like Batman overnight or what? I don't know.
Not a vigilante
Yet.
yet. Yeah, maybe next
I
year.
mean, although that's what a vigilante would say. No, I mean, if you asked Batman whether he was Batman, he'd say no. So
Yeah.
it's not very credible. But also just randomly, both of you are wearing like white a white shirt. That's if that does not speak confidence, I don't know what does. Like I can just never keep this clean. So hats off.
Not eating anything right now, so
Yeah, to be honest with you, like half of my closet is white and black, so I don't have many colors.
That's confidence.
Well,
Um,
no, I just actually wanted to ask Will, are you planning to still take the same PR than last time, or I don't know?
so the
which one
one
was
that
that?
so I've been working on a new spends PR. So this is basically just taking the forward pass, so whether that be an ad stock and then a saturation, and then taking the multiplication, just taking a visualization of that to get an understanding of what's going on. It's been open for a little bit now. I was working on a little bit this week. One of the attributes that I tried to add was testing the visuals which I had some success with on my own at one point with another project. And I thought I would add that in because of Ricardo and I were chatting about it in the chat, and that's actually the biggest headache now for me. I'm trying to do these plot comparisons, and you can't really recover the image. It's running testing, pass locally, and that's really what I'm struggling with. But I might deviate a little bit from that because it's well, the new territory, and pick up some of the other things. Like I think there's a testing one that I've been eyeing for mocking the posterior that I had in my mind. And then I know there's a few handful of things that are open still. How are you? What are your thoughts?
No, I think that you're talking the one that you want to take is about like calibration, right? Like hierarchical calibration. I mean,
I haven't started doing any of the work there in terms of the transfer. I could start today. That would be pretty interesting.
yeah. Yeah, that would be nice. But okay, no, I think that in my case, I actually will complete I have two very small PRs. One is to move Michaelis Menten to Transformers model. So we had it in utils at the beginning when we developed the optimizer. So we need to move it there to just have all the saturation functions and lagging functions in the same place. And then that is just missing the docstring. So should be pretty easy, just modify, add the docstring and move forward. And then I also want to start with the hierarchical one. It's already there from quite a while, I think more or less 2 months. So I actually just want to at least create like the new base model with the new fitting process, and then we can have this hierarchical base model maybe to be released soon.
Yeah, that'd be epic. And Thomas, you're gonna be the commentary.
So actually, I was will use out like you responded in a GitHub issue like, oh yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people looked at my API proposal. So I was gonna take a look at that. Is that relevant? Is that something I should be looking at? Do you know what I mean?
I haven't seen that much. I've checked those. I have my notifications on the repo. Has there
I
been
mean,
much?
you sent like a comment to that, right?
I did. I try to keep everything
Yeah.
alive.
This
I noticed.
do you know the name of the guy so we can check?
For now, screen sharing is disabled. Can you enable? Juan,
I got a specialist.
special guest. Viewership count is now tripling.
Bringing his fans.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
Hey, Juan.
Hey, how's it
Hey.
going?
How are
Very
you?
good. You look totally different. Did you get a haircut or what's going on?
Yes, after 5 months, finally, I had 2 hours to do it.
It's working. Nice.
Thanks. Yeah, I don't have a lot of time these days, but yeah, I had a couple of hours, so I decided to do that. So maybe in 6 months again, it's gonna happen.
Yeah, so I guess we were just talking about PRs to look at, or like what we wanted to work on. Any thoughts? What you wanted to? What do you
Yeah,
think would be a
so
good thing?
I guess for me, because I wanted to do this, I'm doing this a bit async. I'm working on the documentation. So I took a couple of notebooks from the CLD module, and try to add some more content, which means describing the model, like for the BGNBD and for the gamma gamma, so that when you look into the notebook, you know what the parameter mean and so on. And also explain a bit about the fitting, and at the very end also tease a bit the applications. So I guess that's kind of ready for review, so to say. I got some feedback already. I think the Gamma Gamma one I shared yesterday. So if you want to take a look, I mean, it's not urgent. I'll probably keep working on documentation because I believe, yeah, when users get into this landing page, kind of that's supposed to engage them. And I think the lifetime one had a really nice quick start. Yeah, so this is something that, I mean, of course, there's no need to review now, but that's something I'll keep looking into it. Because I do believe that the CLV module is super useful. And for example, once we add the Pareto model with covariates, I think this is going to be really a game changer. And we will need to work on describing the model and also how to scale it. Another thing that I wanted to do is to create a notebook on showing how to use other samplers like non-pyro, how you can pass this into the fit. And I also wanted to try a Pathfinder or something in variational inference. I think that could be also useful because what we want to show, or at least what it ideally need to be in the documentation, is the fact that you can use all of the power of what PyMC can offer in regarding inference, and there's nothing actually in this API which is preventing for that. So yeah, this is something that I wanted to do. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but I do believe the documentation and examples are important and yeah, help users stick with the project.
I agree.
Yeah, I totally agree. I actually believe this. We usually use NumPyro sampler, at least me, but I recognize that maybe people also need like some guide when they want to implement it. So that's definitely super useful.
I brought it up.
I'm a bit surprised. I thought the fit method already took like a nut sampler blackjacks. Wasn't it passing that to the sample?
Yeah, but I think not a lot of people know about this.
Yeah.
Kind of people might just come into the project as PyMC marketing users and just feed it and hoping it's the most efficient, but not really as PyMC kind of users, which might know this.
That's definitely true. Yeah.
I totally agree. I was wondering, I mentioned it before. So we have the MMM example notebook, which is very thorough. And when I was doing the out of sample, I added to the end of it. Should something like that be broken up? Like, is this like such a small snippet just to have like sampling with different samplers? It's so small, it can maybe be lost in, how are you thinking about approaching that?
No, I think I'm going to create another notebook and said, okay, this is both MMM and CLV are built on top of the model builder. So I'm going to use just the CLV and you pass it like this. You just pass the argument and then you can do this with the MMM and then that's it. So I don't want to keep adding this into the notebook because I think it's another topic, but we just need to make it visible in the quick start or yeah, maybe on a yeah, let's see. I'm gonna create a PR so that we can talk a bit more concrete. But I think not a lot of people know about this.
Yeah, that's a good point. You gotta label it how to speed up sampling, and I think they'll get a lot of
Exactly.
people's eyes. Yeah, well, I can definitely give some feedback. I really enjoyed your enhancement of the CLV stuff. I could take a look at the gamma while it's
Yeah,
fresh
the
on your.
gamma didn't change that much. I just added kind of a little bit of comments and love, so to say. But if you have other suggestion about maybe a nice plot or something that engage how people can use this, I guess mostly people use this in combination with the NVG and the other one to estimate customer lifetime value. And I think Colt also created a PR with another useful plot, like the validation plot, that would be also nice to review. I gave some feedback yesterday.
Yeah, I was following that conversation, and I was noticing that, so the Pareto model, is there an example of that that's live on the docs at the moment?
Yeah, there is, but I think it goes into the same spirit that is just the code. I think would be really nice to go again through the kind of frequency and dropout parameterization and showing what's the difference between MBD. I think that would be super nice, but I think that's still not there.
Yeah, I agree. That's definitely a model I don't really know too much about. I know more about the one that's just a bunch of letters, capital letters. The beta negative binomial. So I'd love to learn more about that through a comparison. Cool. And I mentioned.
Sorry.
You
so you were saying?
So I was going to say, so I mentioned right before you joined that I've been working on the new spend plot, basically just looking at if you take one unit spend for all channels, it just evaluates it, and you can visualize the ad stock and the saturation and the contribution just to get a sense of what is this, delayed effect. It's passing kind of overall because I separated the data from the plotting of the data, but the plotting of the data is something that I also tested, and that's something that's a little bit experimental now because I'm using the matplotlib PyTest comparison, and it goes well locally. But however, when I get to running in the CI/CD, it's failing, which it becomes a mystery of why it's exactly different. And I think the last part would be wondering if that's kind of necessary at the moment. I think it would be really great to test plots directly, but I haven't really worked out the magic at the moment.
So which test, the test that is failing are the ones from the matplotlib test suite?
Yeah, so that's you know what PR I'm talking about?
Yeah, I'm looking to the CI/CD and it says
Do you want
plot
to screen share?
Hey, maybe you can screen share, Will?
Okay, let me try. Yeah, so the only two that are failing are, so this is my stuff, and then I ran it yesterday, so it's a new Spence forward pass. The only ones that are failing, and this is, I think, the problem when you have stuff that lasts too long, you got to do some nasty rebases. Is I tried to mock the prior distribution history because there's some randomness there, and I thought maybe that would help, but didn't. The only thing that's failing are these two tests, which are these basically image comparisons.
But they pass locally?
Yeah, so what's happening here, it's not a checking of the data, it's checking of the matplotlib figures that are created.
I wonder if this is the first thing I will try, because this is installing the latest packages. So I don't know if you have a previous version of matplotlib, this might mess up something.
Do you think that makes it just a complication in general? Because if versions of that are not pinned completely, then there doesn't seem like there's that much reliability.
Yeah, but I mean, I think we are not being very strict with matplotlib because if you think this could be a part of a bigger project, we don't want to mess up the conflicts. But I remember there was a PR a couple of months ago on which those plots start failing just because in the latest matplotlib version they deprecated a way of doing LaTeX. So we just fixed that and that was fine. So I'm just saying that it could be because if it's passing locally, maybe just update it to the latest version and try it out, because we're assuming that's always going to be the latest version. I don't know how to properly handle this, but that could be, because if it's passing locally, it's very weird.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You know, I'm not for pinning the version. I think that wouldn't be good. And then so then I had a few flavors of it. So this was the prior, which I had control over the variable, and then this one I marked that it's expected to fail because I think there's some seeding issue, which also is another. I don't think having an expected fail is desirable unless it's a longer term. But these are all for visuals. But then in terms of the kind of the data and kind of the test set for formatting and structure and stuff.
What I could do maybe later is to pull this branch and try to run these tests locally with a fresh environment, and I can give you feedback then. And if it passes or fails, then we can take it from there.
That would be amazing.
Okay, I'll take a look.
Cool. I'll try the new environment on my machine as well. See what happens. And if you could do that, I'd appreciate that.
Okay.
Getting stage fright on all my command line commands being live.
I also wanted to mention there was another PR, an issue about a second derivative computation. I don't know if you saw that, Carlos. I'm gonna ping you.
Yeah. Can you show me? Or what?
Uh,
That works.
yeah. So I'll send it also on Discord. I haven't looked into the computation, but seems like a good first issue. But maybe you can take a look and see if you have any thoughts.
On it. I actually was checking this something similar with the maintain function that we are moving to transformer, so makes sense.
So Carlos, you're going to work on at one point bringing in some of that hierarchical implementations.
Yeah, I will try to do. Why? What are you thinking?
No, I was because I was comparing and contrasting because I think there's some similarities. I had the draft up of using functional approach, so you can use like instead of having classes, you just had functions. And I think the one thing that yours doesn't support at the moment is like the exchangeability of the ordering. So add stock then saturation as
Yeah.
opposed to because it's like those are classes and the classes are attributes of the model, and then the ordering is specific there.
Yeah, I don't have that functionality, but I remember that you added in your PR as well, if I'm not wrong, in the first one that you tried when you are playing with how to modify the custom saturation or plugins. If I'm
Yeah,
not wrong.
the reduce replaceable steps and reordering.
Yeah. So, but what do you want to take that? I mean,
Take it in what way? What do you mean?
because I could actually just move with just for example, the hierarchical model without that specific implementation, and then I can just take this function and put it on top, basically. That
But
function.
I think that I mean I like the functions. I think they are somewhat simple. They're not really verbose. I don't know if there's missing some attributes that you're implementing there. I'd have to kind of think about that more, but maybe the aspect that there's like the steps and you can basically just pull out the steps and then rearrange them. So like I have it in the example of just PR or the PR I think 528. And I thought that was a cool, like the simplest approach is that you would just like pull them out and then reorder them. And because they're just function objects, they could be classes potentially. And your implementation, I think that's potentially something that it could be something that you could implement there.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because I don't think it really matters too much.
Yeah, I'm not still there. I'm still just writing the doc stream. So, but I think that I will go just go there in, I don't know, 20 minutes.
Okay.
One, I'm gonna review your notebooks.
Yeah, take your time. I'm trying to pull from Will's branch.
Anyone want to screen share?
I can do it in a bit. Need to pause for a bit. You're back.
Yeah, I could actually share something. Give me 1 minute and I can share my screen.
I'm still recreating the environment, and I think that no one wants to see the Conda logs.
PyMC Marketing.
But I must say the recent addition of the M file is definitely useful.
Yeah. I will share in a sec. I'm also recreating environment.
I was switching between, I mainly would use just VM, and that's how I was doing the stuff. And now when I'm using Conda, or I'm actually using Micromamba, but I'm having issues with running PyTest, which is interesting because I can import it in my environment. It's wait. Is I'm just looking at your screen, Thomas, and thinking so the configuration that's standardized with the model builder, right? I know that there was I recently brought up some issues of some of the docs had a bit of a different um, distribution uh, kind of like statements. So has that changed a lot? Do you know the context there? I'm not sure if that's like a confusion aspect. I have had some issues that I think it would be good to maybe have a specific maybe documentation on just that, even though it is probably part of model builder, which we kind of pulled in, piggybacked off of the other stuff. But
Yeah, I'm not sure what you mean. Do you mean this here in the?
so I'm just saying I'm trying to gather kind of the context of it and the history of it. I don't know if it's changed a lot, and I'm not sure if that's a confusion for many users because some of the docs actually have some different ways of
The old syntax? Oh yeah.
yeah.
So I previously would allow like full specification of like the prior distribution. So I think you could really only like specify these parameters basically, but the family was fixed, the distribution was fixed. So it's certainly possible that there's still like the old syntax floating around, which would be a documentation bug. So if you can find that, definitely found an issue and then need to fix it. Is that what you mean?
And then I mean, but yeah, basically, I don't know if it was initially one way. I think the initial syntax that I saw that are still in some docs are that you use the dist API of model of distributions as opposed to like
Oh,
dictionary names. That it seemed to be showing up in some of the CLV stuff.
CLV, okay.
I'll tag I'll append to that. I
Yeah, that's
recently
correct.
use clarify that
In one of the other notebooks. Oh, and since maybe this is fixed here by once PRs. Change that here. There's some great additions here.
Found an example. I'm going to just add as a reply to what you're looking at the moment, just so it doesn't get lost.
On an issue or discussion?
In the discussion that you're currently viewing, I'm going to comment it on as a reply.
The API ideas one?
Yeah. I think because I was playing around with these models earlier in the week, and I made a PR, and I have to remember if it got merged. I thought I fixed this example.
In the actual docs.
Which is
Yeah, I was looking at the notebooks, with
Oh.
where I didn't find anything correct, but you're pointing now at the docs. Do you mean this here? That this is wrong?
I'm still on. I still see your discussions.
Oh, okay. Share apparently. This is the right one, right? And now you see the
Yeah, if you
edit
go
here?
to example, yep, I see it. If you go down to the example, I think that dist syntax, the API from distributions, so gamma.dist,
Yeah,
I
that's
don't,
wrong.
that's wrong. I don't know how prevalent that is, and I don't know how, I think that was used at one point. Am I mistaken?
Yeah. No, that's right. Yeah, so we changed that to make it serializable. At least that was one of the reasons. So yes, that's a bug. I'm gonna create an issue. There isn't one, right?
I think I did make a change, a quick PR, and I think it got merged in. Let me see if that was the
Oh,
one.
okay.
Let
Yeah.
me see.
So I
That was-
guess so we just need to cut a new release, I guess, then. Is that it?
Yeah, do the docs happen on?
It- They only get updated with a new release. So it's wait a second.
Oh,
That's
okay.
right. There should be a latest stable. That's it.
Yeah, I fixed that one in a PR 558.
Yes, you did. So yeah, if I go to latest, then by default we just go to the stable docs. Yeah. Okay. I mean, then it's all good.
How did you do that? Where
So,
does that happen on the
so
site?
in the URL, I replaced stable with latest.
Okay, gotcha.
there should also be like a drop down somewhere where you can select which version of the docs you want to look at.
Yeah, usually it's like in the bottom corner with the read the docs, but
Yeah,
maybe it's not really present here.
and we have the old copyright. Yeah, seems like we don't have that.
Maybe it's better to make it at least more visible, findable.
Yeah. So this is the same theme, I think, that we're using for PyMC. So there, I'm pretty sure we have. But anyway, that is fixed. So it should be good, right? Like your question was about whether, like, why it's not showing up in the rendered docs.
So my question was, I'm not sure if that syntax is clear to users. That was my comment, the discussion, because I've seen it kind of both ways. And having some more explicit documentation there on, I mean, once you kind of see a few examples, I think you can put one and one together, but
I see. So you're saying that docstring could use a little bit more explanation.
yeah, potentially, or I think I'm just getting at because the config is specific to our package and to using the model builder. It has the benefit it would be serializable. But I mean, if you're a new user, you're probably maybe new to PyMC in general, and then potentially new to this. So I'm not sure if it's clear.
Yeah, I see.
It doesn't help if there are kind of examples that wouldn't work out of the box.
Right.
But
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Maybe like, is there anywhere like a proper description of like this syntax?
I don't think so.
Ah, I see. Okay, well, that is definitely not ideal then. So yeah, so we should document that somewhere and then just like link to it where like, yeah, here's the issue on that.
What are the so the current examples are a few startups for both of the major modules.
Yeah, I guess the quick start is like where most people would go.
Maybe there's
And then
like
we
a
do,
general, maybe Juan's sampler can go there. Maybe this type of like a general section that would be separate from both of these MMMs and CLVs. Because yeah, we do touch on it here. I the was saying that we should format these, which Juan went through the hassle of doing, so that dictionary would probably look a little bit better. But yeah, you have to kind of dig in, and then you kind of have to assume if they're using the same CLV and MMMs. But that's just my thinking through, pretending I have new eyes to this project, which I don't.
yeah, it might not be that intuitive just looking at this, because yeah, you do need to know about PyMC, right? To see like, oh yeah, this is probably the name of a PyMC distribution, and yeah, yeah, I think that's a good point.
Like I think it would be if there was a general section, it might be good with that model sampler, like changing the sampler. Maybe there's some other categories that, or some other things that would fall into like a general common things that happen with the package. Some small
Sorry, where
examples.
would you put that?
I'm just saying in terms of the examples, there's the two things in the navigation. There's MMMs and then there's CLVs. And I think we're hitting a territory, sampling and changing the sampler is something that would apply to both. Configuration.
Yeah.
Configuration would go to both, probably too.
So how would we call that section?
Like extras, miscellaneous. By the way, Will, sorry to change topic, but in case I forget, I think my test is also failing locally, and I fixed it because PyTest needed something. I put that on the PR comment. So maybe you can push it and see if it works on the CI/CD.
Yeah, let me look. Yeah, I did some on the CI/CD because there's these new flags, and I think it is. Maybe that error. I appreciate you pulling that down because I just created a new fresh one and it took a little bit. So thank you for spending time. I can't remember.
And is examples really the right name for this even? That's more like, what's my guide? Let's go to the example. Huh.
Yeah, I don't really find myself in the guide tab that often.
Yeah, that's a bit. I feel like maybe these two should be combined or something.
That's why I was pushing for if you recall, like if you go through the API, you don't have to, but if you're in the API, but like it was like super long class names with the full and just became too much text for my eyeballs. I'm not a UX guy, but I feel like sometimes it's hard to consume.
But this is bad.
So you're saying like guide and examples might be good together, or maybe consolidate some of the guides.
Or maybe we just are guys.
I lost you, Thomas. What is so thanks for looking at Juan. Is that I've been toying around with that recently. I really like the PyTest any in the Py project to just kind of get some general stuff. So I did add the MPL image compare to the CI/CD, which I'm guessing that's what's kicking off. The Boca warnings is probably just
I was, let's say, without using that, addition into this pipe project Tomo, it was not working. And then when I added, it worked. So maybe just try it out.
And you just kicked off, what was the command that you ran?
Like PyTest and then the path of the test.
Oh yeah. So that's what I have been adding that. And one of the things, so I'll send you the command that I've been running, because I also add the MPL dash generate dash path, and then that's the path to the, and then define the path to where these comparison image.
But would you mind pushing this chain into your branch? I don't want to mess up stuff. Just test. Worst case, we revert this.
Yeah.
It's like trying stuff until it works. Classic.
I know. I'm like, definitely last bit of these commits are these trial and errors. And then like, it just becomes, if we revert it, definitely squash everything. I'll send that in the PR. And we lost you, Thomas. You were.
Yeah. I don't know why my internet is shitty, but it is. Yeah, so I was looking at the guide, which isn't really so much a guide. It's I guess motivation maybe, because I mean when I think of guide, right, I like tell me how the software works, but this is not what it is. This is like why PyMC Marketing, why Bayesian. So there's like or background or something, and then examples is actually the guide, right? We're like, oh, how do I use this? So I think at the very least it's mislabeled. So an example is more like how to, I guess, and this is like what I would want, or tutorials. Tutorials probably is a better name. So examples, I think I would rename with tutorials, and guide with like background.
The why.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because yeah, introduction, like it's like or theory maybe even. I don't know. Anyone else says because like this has no code, right? This is only
Yeah, no code.
just like general info. So background, context. I don't know. How do other packages name this?
So the landing page is mainly the README, right? It's the README for the most part.
Yeah.
And then these are just, you wouldn't find these on the README. This would be, I guess, I think background, because you have like introduction, and
Yeah.
I feel like background's going to be massive on the top bar. It's going to be very long.
Yeah. Well, I guess it needs to go somewhere, and it's in here.
Yeah, I agree that these namings are misleading. So if you specify that on the issue, I can move it. Because I'm now looking into a very simple non-pyro kind of sampler. And then we just put it there, not in the CLV or MMM, but the other section that uses just wheels, but I guess we don't have a name. By the way, did you push the change out of curiosity?
So I just pushed up. So I installed the latest environment using the, the conda and the M file, and I did actually change the image. So we might be onto you're onto the root. So if you look at the latest commit, I had to add new images. I'm looking at the comparison at the moment, and I have no clue how different they'll be. because they're still loading.
Okay.
And like maybe so they look fairly similar, but I failed the test. So I know there's some options with the matplotlib PyTest module that has like you maybe change the labels and take off all the labels and change the tolerance. But I'm worried that with this, just in general, maybe there's an art to that. But if we upgrade, if
Yeah.
something new comes out, it's going to fail.
So maybe a better option. So try it out. Try maybe pushing this project, PyProject.toml change. And if it doesn't work, let's create an issue because, as you said, this might be an art of getting these things working.
Yeah. So,
So add the markers into this. Like if you add the markers, yeah. So when you see in these any options, then this is markers, MLP, image compare. Can you push that?
yeah. So the thing is I didn't put it to the PyProject TOML because I directly added it to the to the CI/CD, but I'll change that so it's in the TOML. So then even if you run it,
Yeah, because otherwise locally it will fail.
yeah. Well, since I didn't have them, that would have made it where it doesn't run. But I'll just make it so it runs, and then okay, I'm gonna push it up right now. I'm making that change.
Cool. Let's see.
I'm also tagging, Juan in the PR of the Michael is maintaining to the transformers model. I just correct the
Okay.
strings as you request as well.
Okay, I don't think I'll have time to review it right now, but I'll definitely take a look in the upcoming days.
Yeah, no worries.
While I dropped, did someone have any ideas on the talks thing?
You dropped again?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I actually like instead of examples, like the how-to,
How to?
and maybe another which is like motivation or like about the project.
About maybe is.
So if you put that into the issue, we can work that later, because I believe this is a little bit scattered, and I don't know if people can actually find this thing easily.
Yeah. Okay. I'll write an issue.
Yeah, I pushed that, Juan. Thank you for the suggestions. My fingers are crossed.
And nothing like the adrenaline of seeing if the test pass or not.
And that's why I wanted to address that mock the posterior with the prior. Because sometimes adrenaline for 20 minutes is too much for me. So I need to bring it down to 15.
Well, for me, it's coffee time.
I'm like that coffee plus adrenaline does not sound like a combo. So Han, I added it as not as markers, but as additional flags, as if is that because there is an additional one too, so based off the documentation, you always flag the matplotlib, but then there's the generate. Yeah, it's like something.
Yeah, actually, let's see if it works like this, because I just follow what the issue said. But if there's a better way, then let's do it like this.
I honestly found their documentation a little confusing, so yeah. So, and I'm just looking at this as low hanging fruit. I think that the watermark looks good, so I'm gonna prove that right now.
Okay. Yeah, this is another question, whether for every release we should rerun all the core notebooks, so that we first of all know they're running. It doesn't take that long, and then we update the dependencies.
Can't we? Well, I guess it's too slow to do that in CI, right?
But maybe we can have like a job that does this on the release, and this happens once every, I don't know, 2 months or something.
I think that's a good idea.
I'm creating an issue.
Actually, that would be also, but that could be too long for the PyMC repo, because sometimes you see that these things are not up to date.
Yeah, that's a lot, but yeah, I mean, I don't know, there's at least 30, 40 notebooks, so that's, and some of them
Yeah,
take
that's
like
too much.
hours to run, so it's like,
Yeah, I mean, we maybe have just a filter, just like on the linting. I think the dev ones will be dev, but if we're just restricted to 4 or 5, that's probably gonna be pretty good.
your GitHub handle is not the easiest to remember, Will.
I'm sorry. I should change it.
You should apologize. And why is it Juanit? Or what is the IT? Not just Juan Odos?
Because it's Juanito is like a small one, like Juanitchen in German.
Okay, so Juanit, but then the O is like double
Yeah, yeah,
accounted for.
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, I had this. That was my first email since ages, and I just use that for everything. And if the service does not allow that username, then I won't use it.
No,
That's funny. How often, how many services can you not use because of that?
No, I think that happened once, and I was very pissed. I don't remember what it was, but definitely not worth it. Okay, so I know that there's a ticket about the naming of the sections. I can take a look into that, let's say, later. But I also kind of drafted a little example page where you take a CLV model. We don't talk about the CLV model, but we see how to sample with blackjacks and with non-pyro, and try to see if I can get it with variational inference. And I think that would be a nice addition, because then it shows that everything that you can do with PyMC, you can still do with PyMC marketing.
Yeah, that's the other thing we talked about, right? Like have another subsection for, is it general? I think that's it.
No, one of the good. What was it?
Like extras, miscellaneous.
Oh yeah, subsection.
Utils.
I never really, yeah, I don't know. I never noted what to do with. I never click on like extras or miscellaneous, because I mean it's not extra, right? Miscellaneous maybe. I guess we can see.
All right, I think I'll need to leave now. It was really nice. I think we should, yeah. It was a very nice way of motivating ourselves to do this low-hanging fruits. I'll review your PR, Carlos, and then I'll try to push these notebooks when we decide on the names. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
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 So Thomas, you were saying that if you saw a miscellaneous, you wouldn't click into it. So they're kind of already open. So maybe.
I mean,
Maybe
I maybe would click on it, but I just wouldn't know what to expect in it.
Yeah, I guess with these subsections, they're kind of already open, and you can already see the content. So maybe it's not a big deal.
Yeah, I don't think it is. General, what do you guys think of that? I mean, I don't think it's perfect, but just
I think general is. I mean, I think that was the one I threw out initially. So
why?
like throughout as a suggestion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Because I mean, like it hits both the MMM stuff and the CLV stuff. So
Yeah.
so like jack sampling, definitely. I would say the model configuration. And so like this would all be, so anything here is going to be notebooks. Yeah. So are there any I'm trying to look at the sub modules of the repo at the moment, because there are the two main modules, but there is some other stuff other than just the model builder.
Main. I guess that's also not a terrible name. No.
I still think it's kind of general is kind of what jumps to my mind, because I
Yeah.
mean I'm looking at the repo structure. Just if you jump into the packages, CLV, MMM, and then version, and then model builder. So maybe it could just be model builder or general or.
Yeah, a model builder I think would be confusing, because then people would have to know what model builder is, right? And they
Yeah.
probably won't. they shouldn't have to.
Yeah, I know, like it may be good to do like a deep dive on it because I've seen some issues where, like, I mean, personally, I'm a little bit, I don't love super deep classes because then you don't necessarily know what is happening. Like, it's not really super explicit. And just to lay out like all the available methods that would be available for all the models, like posterior, sample posterior predictive, predict, and maybe some of the stuff that comes along there might be also
Yeah.
applicable.
Cool. Well, those are definitely simple doc improvements. Yeah. It's so surprisingly difficult to like make docs that make sense.
Yeah. I think the like running the notebooks might be good because then we can see, it's another pulse check on where I think like I mean even some of the doc strings get out of date. Is there any packages to like I think you can run those as well. Would that be worthwhile?
Oh, yes. Probably. What are they called? Are they runnable? Like usually if we don't actually run them in CI, like they're not really functional. But I guess, I mean, that would be another thing to add for sure.
Yeah, because like
Doc tests, is that what it's called? I think PyTest can do that, no?
yeah, so I think doc test is to like you would define all your tests there in the doc string, and then instead of like a test suite.
Oh, I see.
I would love to learn not like with all Sphinx stuff, is it possible to just do like a subset of the build? This is kind of a general tooling stuff that I'm unaware of. Sometimes like to have a quick feedback loop of, is my doc string actually looking presentable, rendering correctly? Maybe Carlos has figured it out because he's working on the Menton doc string.
No. Yeah, I didn't find it. I basically just follow the same example that we have in the other functions, like done. So I imagine that should look presentable.
Yeah, like the I initially added the figures
Yeah.
because they were.
No, I'm actually now killing my head computing like the second derivative of the sigma function because apparently it was wrong at the beginning.
Yeah, did you do that by hand or you just Google search it? What was the
No,
origin?
I usually use SymPy. You can
Okay.
just compute the main function, and he can give you the derivative of that. But yeah, looks like for some reason it was wrong. So now I'm basically doing it by hand to be sure that it's proper. So that's why I'm so quiet. Sorry.
Yeah, I think feel like it should be online to some degree. Or I mean simple enough. If you want me to spend some time, I'll whip out my old notebook. Give it a shot too. Or send me a screenshot and I'll
Sure.
make a PR with just PDFs.
Uh,
Were you gonna add the image of the curve?
yeah, I can share to you.
I'm looking at your PR now.
Ah, you're talking about like the mental one.
Yeah. I think
Or
some have that now. I think all of them have that now, so maybe it'd be good to
got it.
just
Yep.
round it.
Mhm.
Are you also trying to get CI to pass? Oh,
What's that?
Carlos is pushing on a different GitHub name, so that's what confused me. One way you don't have write access. Do you want to use that, Carlos, from now on, or should I add that to the
No,
team?
this is just a temporal. The thing is, sometimes I'm in my work laptop and I don't want to switch GitHub users.
Okay, no big deal.
Mhm.
What's GHCR?
Ah, that's the GitHub.
Container registry?
Yeah, registry.
Oh, I didn't know they had one. That's cool. Yes, we should do that.
Build again.
Oh, the models folder was just like an accident?
Model folder was what?
There's a models folder where
Yeah, from the budget optimizer, I think.
Yeah.
we should just rename it, I guess. It should be there.
No, I think Card and I talked about it a little bit in the chat. So he was saying just the name.
Well, so do we need this file in the repo or not?
Yeah, so it's using the notebook right here, or it's using notebook in for the budget optimizer.
So okay, I guess trace iData, or could it go into data sets? Okay, I see. Probably should, like, we could rename data sets to data and then just put it in there, right? Is that what you were proposing?
Yeah.
I think that's what I suggested, and then Ricardo was saying that. What is it? Yeah, my solution was just renamed to data. Or this would not be renamed model, but because you combine data sets with model to become data. And then I think Ricardo's request was that the iData becomes a little bit more informative.
Yeah, I mean, that's right.
So what do you think? We have like 2 minutes more.
Give all your final words of wisdom.
Please, guys, contribute, open PRs. Or I don't know.
Yeah, I would say just contribute. Even just adding issues is super helpful.
Yeah.
I think just even if you have some code, making a draft PR is totally acceptable too. I feel like that's not said enough. Okay. How do we want to wrap it up, Thomas? I think we're heading 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, I guess we're out of time. Well, if you're still like, stuck to the end, why? Thanks, I guess. I hope this was good at relaxing, getting you to sleep. But yeah, super cool. I think it's great that we're doing these, and I mean, yeah, I mean, as we're doing them already, it's easy enough to stream them. And yeah, I think this was cool. We have some new issues. I'm just gonna do the rename actually, and excited about the future of PyMC marketing. Any last words from you guys?
Yeah, same here. I believe that we would love to hear new contributions. So whoever who wants to contribute, just as Will mentioned, open a PR, even if it's a draft or any code, it's super appreciated. Even issues are like super helpful. So yeah, let's keep the ball rolling.
Totally. I think any feedback's very appreciative, and even if it's something that is out of your ballpark, adding just communication in the discussions or the issues is super helpful. So
Cool, awesome. Well, thanks everyone. Have a good one.
Same time.
bye, everyone.
Bye.